Lawton, Oklahoma is the 5th largest city in the state, but breaking into the music industry as a musician living in the Midwest can be a harrowing feat. Here on After Hours with Cade, I sit down with local artists to discuss the impact Lawton and Southwest Oklahoma has had on their career and how it's shaped their artistry.
My name is Steven Knuckles. Most people around here know me as Knuckles. I'm a country rap artist. I'm a national touring artist, if you consider so. I toured to many different states in 2022. I have music on iTunes, Spotify, all over. I have a couple million views, a few 100,000 followers on some different platforms. And yeah, that's me.
Well, I know you've been releasing music online for 8 years, but when did you initially start making music?
Okay, so I started rapping with my buddies when I was a teenager. I grew up in Lawton here, so in an urban area. We were all into hip hop. A lot of times I'd be the only white guy rapping, but it didn't matter. I tried really hard, so even though I sucked when I first started, my boys encouraged me and I just kept going, and eventually anything with time and practice you get better at, so I would say as a kid I started rapping. Now when I started actually making music and releasing it would be in 2014, 8 years ago, so.
So when did you know that you wanted it to be your full-time career? Because I know that you also work in IT.
So, like 6 months ago, I made the transition from an IT career to this full-time right now. And I've been able to pay the bills using social media and using music for the last 6 months. So that I see that as a win. But I wanted to do it full-time, forever ago. I mean, all my friends from back in the day will always be like, bro, remember when you were like 10 and you talked about wanting to be a rapper? Look at you now. And I'm like, I guess, I still don't feel like I've made it or anything like that, but it is what I want to do as a career going forward.
With black smoke, like global warming's just a bad joke. A bunch of country don't know how to act, folks. Doing donuts in the back like that laps, yo. It ain't NASCAR, I pass cars. In my monster truck, I could smash cars. I'm a pickup man, like Alan Jackson, so I'm blasting off on these lap bars. Big truck, acting up. 4-wheel drive when I back it up. 12-inch lift kit, gon' jack it up. Ride on the boys if they acting tough. Big truck, rolling deep. Photo cab with the fold-out seats. Leather underneath just to hold my cheeks. Nobody who knows that can roll like me. Big truck, acting up. 4-wheel drive when I back it up.
I'm not saying this to be facetious or to braggart, but I'm one of the originators of country rap. Like, not the originators, but 8 years ago, there weren't as many country rappers. And I started doing country rap around then. And the reason why is because I made one song where I talked about a bunch of country stuff, and everybody loved it. And I realized it's because I was being authentic. And in hip hop, being authentic is important. Nobody wants to hear somebody rapping about a Benz if they don't actually have a Benz. That's a hip hop thing. Being fake in hip hop is always frowned upon. So when I started rapping about these country things, everybody was like, yeah, he literally works for a rodeo company. He's literally country. This makes sense. And so I just started making a couple more songs. Then when I realized there was a market for it and a niche for it, then I decided, this is where I can build my lane, and so I just embraced it basically. I just embraced who I was. Being Lawton born and raised means that you have dealt with a lot, because Lawton is a place where there's a high crime rate, there's lots of drug use here. And I fell into that. I did 5 years in prison. I have 3 felonies, so I am a person who has changed their whole life. This Christmas Eve will be my 14-year anniversary out of DOC custody. And to me, that speaks volumes for Lawton. Like, I went through this, I grew up as a bad teenager. I was not in no way a role model. And yet here I am now a role model. And I'm not out here rapping about drugs and things like that. A lot of my songs are more positive, and I try to influence this next generation in Lawton. And that's one of the reasons I haven't left Lawton yet. The internet allows me to reach a broader audience than someone could have, 20 years ago, of course. But I know also if I had moved to Nashville 5 years ago, I would be way bigger than I am right now. And I know that, but that's not what I want to do. I want to stay here, and I want to bring things this direction, so hopefully I can give back to the community, and I get to do speak outs sometimes at the schools and things like that. I'll get invited to those things, and that feels really good. I like that. I like that I was once a failure and I literally one time CH Brazil came up to me and was like, Knuckles, and I was like, yes sir, CH Brazil, and he was like, I just want to shake your hand and say you've done great. And that meant a lot to me because he'd arrested me twice, you know? So like we had a personal relationship in a bad way. And for him to see me 10 years later and to want to shake my hand for the positivity that I brought to the community, you know, that alone is why I won't leave Lawton. So the honest truth is the community has helped me grow by not embracing me. When I first started doing this, I received pretty much nothing but hate. There's a news website here in Oklahoma that's known as the Lost Oval that literally wrote 4 or 5 in a row hateful articles about my videos, but it caused them to go viral. And the way I handled it was just by making a silly video saying thanks for the free promo, okay? So I wasn't embraced. Lawton didn't embrace me for a long time. But what that caused me to do was that caused me to travel. That caused me to get out of my comfort zone and try some different things. You know, that caused me to realize I've got to get a drummer and I've got to go on tour and I've got to do these things because you can't make it here. I can't be a rapper in Lawton and think that that's going to pay my bills. But it sucks that I had to get my feelings hurt to realize that, you know what I mean? But now the support has come back around, you know, and that's, it's strange to see, and it's still a strange feeling when fans stop me in Country Mart or Walmart and want to take a picture with me, you know, and they're like hometown celebrity, you know, like that means something now because I didn't have that support when I started.
Now, how does it feel, now that you've been 8 years in the game, and you, like you said, you tour multiple states, you do shows everywhere. How did you initially begin making those connections? Did it begin in Lawton, or did it begin online and you ventured out?
It began online. Me going viral several times has caused me to develop a large online following. I have over 200,000 followers on Facebook, and I'm verified. And that alone has allowed me to make connections with people online, and then when we do events together or something like that, then I'm like, hey, you want to work on a song together? Or, you know, hit me up if you need someone at another show or something like that. And I've always done good business. I do very good business. Anywhere I say I'm going to be, I'm there. I show up and put on the best show I possibly can. You know, I leave everything on the stage every night. You know, I pay for everything I'm supposed to pay for. You know, I never argue about things. Like, I try to do good business, you know. Even though it's music and it's rap, I still want to be a good businessman. I have done collaborations with some local artists here. Takiz is one of them, and Measy Mathematics is another one that we've both had songs, you know, on the radio together at K98. And so I have done collaborations with several artists locally as I was starting. But as I've grown now, you know, I have a feature price. It costs money to get a feature from me. You know, so not everyone here has the capabilities to do that. But I need people to have the money to be able to put behind the song if we're going to do it together. You need to have a marketing budget, you know. And it's not even that, like, I want your money. You need to put it into yourself, really, is what I really want. So I can only work with people who are treating it like a business at this point, you know. And for a lot of local rappers, that's all they are, is local rappers, you know. So I'm more about people who are trying to get outside of Lawton and take their music into the actual national touring act side of things.
You mentioned earlier that, you know, you're not rapping about drugs, you're not rapping about violence. So going into the studio, what is your thought process like?
So honestly, on my phone, I have a notes app, and I'm constantly just writing lines that come to me all day. Like, I have ADHD. My brain never stops going. Like, I really do. And so, like, I constantly have just random thoughts that'll be, you know, 3 or 4 lines that rhyme, and I'll put that together. And then later I might write a song off that. Or sometimes I may hear a beat that I like, and I'm like, wow, I really want to do that. Or I'll write a song for a specific occasion. I just wrote a song for me and my wife's 10-year anniversary together, you know, so I wrote a specific song for her. Like, I try to capture the emotions and the moments of the song. And so I could be rapping about going mudding, or I could be rapping about, you know, someone dying in your family and how to deal with that, you know. So I just try to, like I said, I try to be authentic. So I put everything into my music, you know, no matter what it is.
The only path to become the realest. Know a lot of people won't probably feel this, but that's okay. I still got my killers, gorillas, banana clips of pillars. I still feel the government is trying to kill us, the same way as when they gave crack to dealers. You can ask black folks, the attack was real, cuz they feel the effects as real as it gets. This is the truth you should know. Racism is real, they're facing it still, but there is some proof we can grow. We can walk hand in hand all across this land and take a stand for each other. I can look at that man and I see a tan and simply see him as my brother. I done got tons of fans all up in the stands. They come from all races and colors, so I done got one plan, how to change this land. That's simply to love one another. If you see like I see and you speak like I speak, that means you're not living with lies. The proof's in the pudding, the truth's not off-putting, so maybe just give it a try.
Over the years, how do you feel your artistic direction has changed? And going forward, for the new year, where do you feel like it's going to go?
Okay, so this year I've taken some direction from my producer and engineer. His name's Future. Shout out to Future Recording Studios here in Lawton. We've been working together for 8 years. And I have finally let him convince me to start singing more, which is why I've released my first country song this last year. And I have several other more country style songs coming. Because he's encouraged me to sing. He says everybody can sing. Even though you think you can't sing, you can sing. And so for the longest time, all I wanted to do was rap it all. I wouldn't even do any sort of vocalization. I didn't even like doing choruses because I feel they should be more catchy and singy. And over time, I've grown to develop that in the right key and in the right song that's written for you, anyone can sing. And since I write my own songs, hey, I could just write songs for me to sing. You know, so I have a lot more. In 2023, you're going to see a lot more singing coming from me. You're going to see some music that sounds a lot like 90s classic gold country. And it's going to be weird coming from me because that's not my normal speed of things, you know. So
will that be the only genre we see you venture out to?
No, I have a bluegrass song that I'm going to be releasing. Yep, it's called Family Tree. I don't want to give too much away, but it's hilarious, and it's a literal bluegrass banjo, like that. I have several rock rap style songs that will be coming out as well. I'm just not much of a rocker, so like some rock rap vibe I grew up with, Limp Bizkit, things like that, you know. So I have a couple songs like that coming out, and those are collaborations. Like those are things I'm working with people, and this is more their style. And I also am going to be working with some people who have more of a slow Southern Atlanta type style, and I've done some of those songs. So there's a different style of me rapping coming out where I'm a little bit more melodic, kind of jazzy, you know. So I'm just whatever people want to work, you know. If they're serious and they're working, then I'll try to fit their style. A lot of people tell me that I'm extremely versatile. That is like one of my greatest qualities with the music.
I'm not strong enough on my own. You know I've always been a heathen. I'm just an old dog with my bone. I've been searching for a season. Trekked all across the globe, but now I finally found the reason. Thanks to you, I'm not alone. I found something to believe in. I've been walking on a long, long path, and now my old bones are tired.
So I don't know that I would do a full-on gospel song. My latest song is country, and it is almost Southern gospel, and it's very clean. There's no curse words, you know, and I'm talking very much about my faith in God and what it means to me. But in it also, I leave it kind of open to say that everyone needs something to believe in, you know. So I've learned not to be closed-minded. That's something that I just don't. I get accused of it all the time anyway because I look like this. So I've learned I'm not closed-minded about anything, and I want people to find their own path in life. But I believe that everyone does need something to believe in out there to have that path that they've got to find, whatever that is. You know, it could be another person, it could be a job, it could be whatever. But I don't know that gospel's for me because I still like to use curse words like an adult. So that gets you thrown out of the church sometimes, you know. So.
Oh, yeah, very quick. What do you think the future looks like for the music scene in Lawton, and what do you feel like could be different for the going forward?
So the music scene in Lawton doesn't have a lot of consistency for genres like hip hop and for genres like pop. We have very consistent rock and roll bands here. We have very consistent country music artists. They consistently play the same places. They consistently play the same cover songs. There's very few of them that are going anywhere other than that. I do think that we have the potential to have a better music scene here, but I think it would take more places trying to work together. And we have a lot of competition in Lawton between venues, and I know that just from dealing with them personally. And because of that, the scene is not going to grow here. Do I think there's a lot of talented artists? Yes, but I think that they're going to have to do what I've done and spend the money to get outside of Oklahoma to make themselves pop more.
In 2022, you released an EP and 3 singles, and I know that you talked about having collaborations coming up. But solo, what do you have planned for 2023?
So we'll have an entire solo project coming, as well as several collaborative albums that are in the works as well. I already have 15 songs right now ready to release that are just sitting, and I'm waiting. I have a music video, an animated music video being made for one of them. It's me and Catfish Cooley. It's a song about noodling. So I'm hoping that it's really going to catch fire because, you know, noodling doesn't have a theme song.
Especially around here.
Yeah, exactly. You know, we all noodle. Well, not all, but me and all my people noodle, you know, like we like to do that. So yeah, I'm hoping that will be good. So, you know, but personally for me, I have several songs already set back that are just solo me that I will be releasing a full solo album too. So.
Could one of those projects be Knuckles and the Boys Volume 2?
There will be Knuckles and the Boys Volume 2. Absolutely coming. Yep, Knuckles and the Boys Volume 2 will come out in 2023, as well as an EP with my friend Keyboy, who I toured with this summer. He's from Kansas, and he's a very good artist, and me and him already have 5 songs partially finished together. So we'll be releasing a 7-8 song album within the next 6 months or so.
Do you have any upcoming performances that you'd like to plug?
I have no. I took the rest of the year off. All of December I took off. I do have shows in the works, you know, but I don't like to talk about things until they happen. But I can promise that I will be touring in the spring of 2023 and the fall of 2023, and we'll see what happens in the summer. In the summer, I would really like to stay around here and try to do shows in this area, do maybe some shows at the lake and things like that. And like I said, this will be the time that I try to bring some artists in as they're passing through on their summer tours.
And besides being one of the first country rap artists, to you, what sets you apart from another up-and-coming artist in Southwest Oklahoma?
Besides being a country rap artist, it's my work ethic. It's how hard I've worked. It's how consistently I've put in the work. It's the reason that I have millions of streams and followers. It's not that it happened overnight. And the difference between me and them is I've continually put all of my money available back into it. I've continually grown my brand until it's recognizable. And that alone is what eventually is supposed to pay off. That's the way the world works, right? Hard work eventually pays off. So that's what sets me apart. I work hard. So it's super duper easy. I'm at Knuckles, the word Knuckles, Knuckles, RAP. So Knuckles Rap, at Knuckles Rap everywhere. On YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all the places and things, TikTok, all that. It's just at Knuckles Rap. You can't miss me.